The economy was booming. That's what the headline said. Stock markets were climbing. Corporate profits were breaking records. Politicians stood behind podiums celebrating growth. Economists pointed to charts that seemed to rise endlessly towards the sky. And yet, in the shadows of that prosperity, millions of people stared at their bank accounts and asked a simple question. If the economy is doing so well, why does it feel like I'm falling behind? That question would expose a reality hiding beneath the celebration, a reality few people wanted to talk about, and once you see it, you can never unsee it. On a bright morning in a growing city, construction cranes filled the skyline. New luxury apartments appeared almost overnight. Expensive restaurants had waiting lists. Luxury car dealerships couldn't keep enough inventory on their lots. Everything looked successful. Everything looked healthy, at least from a distance. Because a few miles away, another story was unfolding. A father sat at his kitchen table staring at a grocery receipt. The total was higher than last month. Again. His rent had increased. Again. His insurance bill had increased. Again. His paycheck? Almost unchanged. He wasn't unemployed. He wasn't struggling because of some personal failure. In fact, he was doing exactly what society told him to do. Work hard, show up every day, stay responsible. But somehow, every year felt more difficult than the one before. And he wasn't alone, not even close. But the real problem was just beginning. For decades, economic growth followed a familiar script. Companies expanded, workers earned more money, families bought homes, communities grew stronger. The machine wasn't perfect, but enough people benefited that most believed the system worked. Then something started changing. Slowly at first, almost invisibly, the gains from growth began flowing in a different direction. Technology accelerated productivity. Global markets expanded. Corporations became larger than ever before. Profits exploded. Investors celebrated. Executives celebrated. Financial markets celebrated. Everyone looking at the numbers saw success. But hidden behind those numbers was a question nobody seemed eager to answer. Who exactly was receiving the rewards? The answer would change everything. As the years passed, a new economy emerged, one powered by algorithms, automation, global supply chains, and financial engineering. Efficiency became the ultimate goal. Every company wanted to produce more while spending less. Investors demanded constant growth, quarter after quarter, year after year. No excuses, no pauses, no slowing down. The pressure was relentless, and under that pressure, businesses discovered something powerful. Keeping labor costs low could make profits soar. A factory worker could be replaced, a department could be outsourced, a process could be automated, a workforce could be reduced. Each decision looked rational on a spreadsheet. Each decision boosted earnings. Each decision pleased investors. But nobody could have predicted what would happen when millions of those decisions happened at the same time. The stock market kept rising, asset prices kept rising, corporate profits kept rising. Yet many workers felt trapped, as if they were running faster every year just to stay in the same place. And then came one of the most important shifts in modern economic history, a shift hiding in plain sight. Assets, homes, stocks, real estate, businesses, things that generated wealth simply by being owned. For people who already possessed those assets, life became extraordinary. A home purchased years earlier suddenly doubled in value. Investment portfolios exploded upward. Wealth created more wealth. Money attracted more money. Opportunities multiplied. The system seemed almost magical. But there was a catch, a massive catch. What happened to those who owned little or nothing? What happened next shocked millions. As asset values surged, the cost of entering the game surged too. Homes became harder to buy, investments became harder to start, saving became more difficult. The ladder upward was still there, but the first rung kept moving higher. Young families noticed it. Recent graduates noticed it. Middle-income workers noticed it. Many found themselves staring at opportunities that previous generations had reached far more easily. The economy was growing, but access to that growth wasn't growing equally, and the gap kept widening. At first, the difference seemed manageable. Then it became impossible to ignore. Luxury towers rose above neighborhoods where residents struggled to pay rent. Corporate earnings reached historic highs, while many households relied on credit cards to bridge everyday expenses. The contrast felt surreal, like two completely different economies existing side by side, one experiencing abundance, the other experiencing pressure. And the distance between them continued expanding. But the most dangerous part wasn't the inequality itself, it was the illusion. The illusion that everyone was benefiting equally. The illusion that strong economic numbers automatically meant strong economic lives. The illusion that growth alone solved everything. Because beneath the celebration, warning signs were beginning to flash. Household debt climbed. Financial stress increased. Emergency savings disappeared. Workers took second jobs. Families delayed major life decisions: marriage, children, home ownership, retirement. Goals that once felt normal began feeling distant. For many, prosperity became something they watched rather than experienced. And still the headlines remained optimistic. Still the charts pointed upward. Still the celebrations continued. But hidden tensions were building, and pressure always seeks a release. Then came moments that exposed the cracks. Economic shocks, market disruptions, unexpected crises. Suddenly, millions discovered how fragile their financial position really was. A missed paycheck, a medical bill, an unexpected expense. For some households, that was enough to trigger disaster. Years of effort could unravel in months, sometimes weeks. The realization was terrifying. Many people weren't participating in prosperity, they were surviving beside it. And once that realization spread, public frustration began growing. People demanded answers. Who benefited from the system? Who carried the risks? Who absorbed the pain? Those questions echoed through political debates, financial discussions, and dinner table conversations around the world. But the answers were complicated, far more complicated than simple villains and heroes. Because this wasn't the story of one bad decision. It was the story of thousands of incentives aligning in ways nobody fully anticipated. Investors pursued returns, executives pursued growth, governments pursued expansion, consumers pursued affordability. Each group acted rationally, each group responded to incentives. Yet, together, those incentives produced outcomes many never intended. That was the paradox. The economy wasn't failing. In many ways, it was succeeding exactly as designed. And that was what made the situation so unsettling. The machine worked, just not equally for everyone. The consequences became visible everywhere. In housing markets, in education costs, in healthcare expenses, in retirement savings, in wealth accumulation. For some families, opportunities multiplied across generations. For others, each generation started from nearly the same place, sometimes even further behind. The gap wasn't merely financial anymore, it became psychological. a divide in confidence, a divide in expectations, a divide in belief. People who felt ownership in the future behaved differently from those who felt locked out of it. One group invested, the other worried. One group planned decades ahead, the other focused on making it through the month. One group viewed risk as opportunity, the other viewed risk as danger. And those differences compounded year after year. But nobody could have predicted how powerful that compounding would become. Because money compounds, assets compound, opportunities compound, but so do disadvantages. Missed opportunities compound, debt compounds, financial stress compounds. The effects spread through families, communities, and entire generations. The booming economy continued creating winners, but it also created people who increasingly felt forgotten. And when enough people feel forgotten, something changes. Trust begins to erode. Faith in institutions weakens. Anger grows. Frustration spreads. The conflict isn't always visible immediately, but it accumulates beneath the surface like pressure building behind a dam. Eventually, everyone feels it. Businesses feel it. Governments feel it. Investors feel it. Workers feel it. Because no economy exists in isolation from society, and society was beginning to ask difficult questions. Questions without easy answers. Questions about fairness. Questions about opportunity. Questions about what growth should actually mean. Should success be measured only by stock indexes? Only by GDP? Only by corporate earnings? Or should success also include whether ordinary people can build stable lives? That debate continues today, and its outcome may shape the future more than any market prediction. Because history offers a warning. Economic systems are strongest when people believe they have a stake in them, when effort feels rewarded, when opportunity feels attainable, when progress feels possible. When those beliefs weaken, instability often follows. Not overnight, not dramatically at first, but gradually, like a crack spreading through a foundation. The most fascinating part is that both realities can exist simultaneously. The economy can genuinely be booming, and many people can genuinely be struggling. Those statements aren't contradictions, they're reflections of different experiences within the same system. A billionaire watching assets soar experiences one economy. A worker facing rising costs experiences another. A homeowner benefiting from appreciation experiences one economy. A first-time buyer facing impossible prices experiences another. Same country, same headlines, same growth, completely different realities. And perhaps that's the lesson hidden beneath all the statistics, charts, and economic reports. Numbers tell us what is happening, but they don't always tell us who it's happening to. A rising tide may lift many boats, but not everyone starts with the same boat. Some have yachts, some have fishing boats, some are holding on to driftwood. And when the tide rises, those differences matter more than anyone wants to admit. The economy's greatest challenge may not be creating growth. Humanity has become remarkably good at that. The real challenge is ensuring that enough people can participate in the rewards, because prosperity that feels distant eventually feels irrelevant, and prosperity that feels irrelevant eventually stops inspiring confidence. The future will belong to societies that understand this distinction, societies that recognize that growth is powerful, but inclusion is powerful too. Because an economy isn't just markets, profits, and statistics. It's people, their dreams, their fears, their ambitions, their sacrifices, their hope that tomorrow will be better than today. And when millions of people begin asking why prosperity feels out of reach despite all the celebration around them, that question becomes impossible to ignore. The economy may be booming, but the story doesn't end there. The real question is, who gets to share in the boom? And history suggests that answer matters far more than the headlines ever will.